Before we get started here, we want to give a big shout out to our friends over at OmniLab have been taking communication to a whole nother level. We're living in a time right now where you can't be visiting your friends and your family, checking in with your loved ones. Their telecommunications robot is allowing you to visit them with the most simplistic of ways, being able to dial right into a 4K camera that also has web conferencing abilities. So, visiting loved ones as a group is possible to check in with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it may be. So, if you're looking for the best possible deals to make sure that you are taking advantage of this wonderful tool to take you into 2021 and beyond, make sure you check that description and below for OmniLabs, their telecommunication robot.
And also FCD Box. If you guys have not heard of these guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of Wolf launchers. You guys have heard of all these different launchers that you could add to your Amazon Fire devices. These guys have their own exclusive launcher that you could add to your stuff, which takes care of so many good things and just make it very, very accessible just at the touch of your hands. Make sure you guys do go to fcdbox.com or check the description below to see how you guys can get hooked up with the latest and greatest launcher.
And also, our friends over at Buzz TV have been making waves in the streaming community last year, and they're continuing to take it to a next level this year. They have some really interesting devices that we talked about on our Beyond the Streams interview with them. So if you missed that, make sure you check it out. And in the description below, there's going to be coupon codes so that you guys will continue to get the best deals from Buzz TV. So make sure you check that in the description below.
And getting a VPN, guys. VPNs are so important right now. There's just so many things, people getting hacked, people getting ISP letters and DMC takedown notices, and just securing your information. You literally never know when somebody is watching you. So make sure you guys do get a VPN, because you do want to make sure you guys are protected. VPN does so much more than just protect your privacy. It gives you that peace of mind. And the same way how some of you guys have an antivirus to protect your computer from those attacks, getting a VPN just makes sense. Make sure you guys do check the description below. We have several links in there that we do recommend and we do like, we've tested. So make sure you guys do get yourself protected. It's all in the description below. Make sure you do get that protection.
Make sure to subscribe to our channels and the podcast, and always leave us a comment or a review to let us know how we're doing and what kind of content you're looking forward in the future. With all that being said, guys, let's start the show.
You are not going to believe this, even if we tell you.
And we're going to tell you.
And we are going to tell you. This is going to be a new series that we're going to be starting. And it's just something that we've been kind of discussing back and forth on, like, is it a what the hell? Or is it like what? like, do you believe this? I don't know if I believe this.
Or is it just news?
Or is it just news? So Next Level Rohas Beyond the Streams back in the house. Make sure you guys do leave us a review. If anything, guys, do us a favor. Pause for the cause. Hit the thumbs up. We're not even asking for you to subscribe. Just hit the thumbs up. That's it. If you could do one thing for us, is hit the thumbs up. This will help us in a great deal. So that's how I'm kicking this off. Something very interesting just happened.
Or
Gamestop stock market.
Crazy. The stonk market.
The stock market. It is insane. Okay. I'm gonna give it my rendition, and then you fill in the holes.
Sure, let's go.
Okay. So this is what I saw. This is what I was reading and I heard. Why do I look so much shorter? If you're watching the video, you're gonna be like, why does Rojas look like he's shrunk? I gotta raise up my chair. Hold on. There we go. There we go. I don't look like a midget no more.
Hey, we're both
So yeah. Okay, so what happened is, from my understanding, and I'm getting more into the stocks, but what happened is a lot of these billionaires or people that have a lot of money or people who have a lot of stock decided to pull out and have the stock drop. Now, poor GameStop has been suffering as it is already. And they decided to pull out of stock while they have some money in there. And they're like, let's just pull it and drive this stock down. Now, from what I heard, I guess there's, I don't know if you want to call it an angry mob, angry Redditors, or I don't know what it is, but there is a group of people on Reddit that were like, screw the system, screw this. Not only are we going to drive it up, but you're going to pay for it and make us rich. So what my rendition of it is, all these people decided to buy a grip ton of stock when it was super low, and it drove the price sky high and made these guys, I don't know if you want to call them millionaires, billionaires, thousandaires, 100aires. But all of a sudden, all these people ended up with money, like money. So you want to fill in the blank from here?
All right, so I'm gonna go on a next level rant.
Here we go.
Buckle up.
I got my drink.
I've been passively playing with stocks for just over a year now, and within the last 3 months, I've dove really deep into it. Like, I mean, looking at charts, looking at patterns, and all kinds of this stuff, right? And I was looking at, all of a sudden, GameStop gaining traction. And the first thing that I do when I see a stock and a lot of people talking about it is pull up the chart. So when I'm looking at the chart and I'm looking at the pattern, none of it made sense. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this stock? Why are people going to play this stock? It's all of a sudden going to jump from $15 to 50. Like, why are we playing this stock? It doesn't make sense. Like, the retails aren't even open. So I didn't understand it at first. I saw the stock and I saw the volume and it started going up. And I was like, something doesn't make sense. And then they started calling for AMC. And then they started calling for BlackBerry, because I follow a lot of stock related people. And I'm like, AMC's been fighting with bankruptcy for like a year now. Why are we buying into AMC? And then I saw an article come up and AMC was, raising $900 million. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, that makes sense. But what's going on with GameStop? And then I started digging further, deeper down the rabbit hole. So to give some context to what is actually going on, for the beginning, or from the beginning of time, when it comes to stock markets, there's something that's called stock shorting. And that's when you actually buy into something like a contract where you say that you're betting that this stock price is going to drop to this amount. And what some of these hedge funds have been doing, now I'm not a stock expert, but from my understanding, what these hedge funds have been doing is betting that the stock is going to drop to a certain price and then forcing the price of that stock to drop. And when it hits the price that they bet against as a contract, they get paid out for that because they bet it, right? So they're technically making money off of not actually owning shares of the actual stock, which is insane. So what a lot of angry people on social media, and when I first found the Reddit forum, it was like just about 2 million people on it. As of right now, close to 7 million, right? They're growing exponentially. So we're talking about the power of social media and how it can affect the stock market. So when they saw that these hedge funds were pushing GameStop into the ground, literally, right? They were like, no, we're not having this. They decided to inflate the stock. And what that does is those contracts that were purchased for when Gamestonk drops, they no longer make money, but they owe money because the stock is not valued at what they bet. So now these hedge funds, which the one that was, I guess, targeted was one called Melvin Capital, and Melvin Capital had a net worth of $13 billion. And from what I was seeing on these social media posts is that if Gamestonk got to a price of over $250, $300, Melvin Capital loses $13 billion. Decentralizing the stock market and the power of wealth and redistributing it amongst the people. Because the people, they don't have $13 billion to make this change in the stock market. But as a collective, as 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million people, hell yeah, they do. Absolutely insane. Insane. I've seen millionaires overnight. I've seen billionaires. The guy literally who started all this, well, there's one of the guys, there's 3 guys that I know of that were really pushing this hard. And those guys invested very heavily. I'm talking over $1 billion to do this themselves. And they got the attention of Elon Musk. They got the attention of Chamath. And a lot of people are like, well, who's Chamath? Chamath made $1 billion from being a senior executive of Facebook when it started, and then investing heavily into the stock market and flipping it. So Chamath had $1 billion. Elon Musk is Elon Musk. I mean, he's Tony Stark of the modern day. I don't know.
He don't need $1 billion. He needs to share the wealth.
and it's insane because literally these people like Chamath and Elon Musk are posting about this on their social media. And as soon as they post, go over to the stock market and watch the volume just skyrocket. Insane. Like, this whole thing has kept me up for 3 days and I haven't been able to sleep because this is a historic moment in society and people don't even know what's going on.
Now, you did say Gamestonk, and I wanted to address that real quick because people are going to be like, what? So Gamestop and the word stunk, Elon Musk is pretty much combining the two, saying like, this is no bueno. This isn't a good thing for GameStop to be going on I think they're even talking about bankruptcy too at one point. They're talking about like shutting doors. So for this to all of a sudden explode, Elon Musk started using the term and he tweeted, I think that's all he tweeted, Gamestonk. That's it.
It's insane, bro. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, some of these companies that have gone bankrupt, I question it now. Did they actually need to go bankrupt, or were they forced to go bankrupt because of these kind of stock shortings in the market, right? People betting against them and then forcing them to go bankrupt because they have the money to do so. And a lot of people are saying at this point, because man, there's so much I can say about this point, but the banks, the platforms, the stock platforms, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, even TD in Canada, some other financial institutions have stopped at one point allowing you to buy and sell these stocks. And it's not just Gamestonk, it's AMC, it's BlackBerry, it's Nokia, there's another one, EXPR. There's about 5 or 6 of them that people were pushing up. And when this first started happening, BlackBerry and GameStop were like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know why our stock is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it's amazing to me to see the power of the people actually being able to keep these companies afloat.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's almost to the point where I don't know if it's like, would you call this almost like illegal?
But okay, I'm gonna jump right into that one too, because I'll fight that.
Because I know there's a stock market lawsuit happening.
Yes.
And I don't know if we want to jump into that one just yet, or does it make sense to jump on it now?
Man,
just jump into it.
Let's just keep going, man, because I'm fired up for this one. I'm borderline excited and borderline angry at the same time because there's so many people that want to call this illegal. And mind you, sure, it sounds illegal. It sounds like inside betting or whatever you want to call it, right? But the problem is, if you want to classify stock pushing or stock inflating as illegal, then you have to classify what these hedge funds have been doing since the beginning of time with pushing these stocks down as illegal, right? And if there is no regulation to pushing stocks down, then how are we going to have platforms like Robinhood, TD Ameritrade stopping the buying and selling of stocks when it's being pushed up, right? Because there's no regulation for either one. Right now, what we have is the people with power, those people with those billions of dollars, cutting off the power of the people, because now when those platforms like TD Ameritrade and Robinhood stopped the ability to buy stocks, they only let you sell it. And when you sell it and you're not able to buy, the stock price goes down. You know what I'm saying? So they're forcing the people to sell the stock, and they're forcing that mob mentality to be scared. They're fear mongering the stock market when there's no regulation to do so.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned a couple, but I know Robinhood is in
Robinhood,
a
yeah.
lawsuit right now, or they're about to be in a lawsuit.
Well, there was a class action lawsuit put against them because of the same thing that I just said. Like, how are they going to limit the stocks being traded when there's no regulation, right? You're cutting off the power of the people that they have the ability to trade, and you're taking it away from them. And it's so crazy because I'm part of the Reddit group, and they actually have a Telegram group now too. And last night I was in that Telegram group. The conversations were insane. I could not sleep. I was just listening to these guys talk about the scenarios and the situations. It's just, whew, I'm getting excited. But the problem is that there is over 10, I'm going to say 10. There's over 10 million people actively involved in what's going on, and probably even more, because when we look at, pre-markets and after markets, the volume is still there. They're trying to cut it off, but there's still platforms that let you trade in the pre-market and the aftermarket. And we're talking like somewhere between 20 to 50 million in volume on these stocks still happening. So yes, they can cut it off, but they can't cut off every platform. There's too many people using too many tools, and they're going to get what they want. Robinhood tried to cut them off, and that's why they have the lawsuit going on. We're talking about 10 million people with diverse backgrounds, lawyers, people that are very intelligent and who never really had a purpose or an interest in this stuff before. But now it's almost like civil anarchy or economic anarchy, and they're trying to put the power back into the people, and people are fired up about this. So if we look at what's happening with Robinhood, we have platforms like Webull. And you know what's another platform that a lot of people don't know about? Cash App. So when Robinhood started cutting off people started jumping to Webull and Cash App because they weren't stopping you. They're like, you want to do this? Go for it. So now we had an influx of people, and I literally would see this. They were like, all right, everybody, we are going to be moving from Robinhood to Webull and Cash App because they're not stopping us. So it's going to be very difficult until they put in a legislation or some kind of regulation to limit this kind of trading. But as we know, legislation and regulation is not something that happens overnight. So by the time this happens, it's going to be too late. And a lot of people have been comparing this to the .com bubble, right? I'm going to call this the meme bubble, or because this is all powered by memes. There's so many memes about what's happening right now, and it's driving traffic. It's driving traffic to Dogecoin, which is an imaginary cryptocurrency that means absolutely nothing. That is, they're trying to push to $1 right now, but it's just insane the amount of stuff that's going on. Like, I don't even.
So okay, real quick. You did say Cash App.
Yeah, I didn't even know Cash App lets you play with stocks.
I had no idea that Cash App lets you play with stocks, and I literally had to like fact fact
Fact
check
check.
you.
Fact check. Yeah.
I almost said fat check you.
Woo-hoo.
Are you fluffy today?
Oh, I'm extra fluffy.
Did you eat the chicken wingies? So here is my Cash App right there, right in the middle. I know
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to see. And I just opened it, and at the very top, I got a little thing that says you could go into Bitcoin. And I'm like, what? And then now I'm trying to go back in there, but I don't see it. But there is a tab right here towards the bottom. And right there, that one is your investing. And it says you could discover a stock. And you could choose stocks or Bitcoin.
Yep.
And right now, Bitcoin, it's showing at 34K, things going up. But I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, holy crap! I didn't know you could do this within Cash App.
I think I just blew your mind there, Rojas.
You did. Now I'm over here like, hey, maybe I don't need Weeble because I almost did Robinhood, and you're like, no, stick to Weeble, trust me. But I might still do Weeble because I just want to see what the difference is. But I'm
100%.
like, wait a minute, Cash App. Now you could. So anybody out there that has Cash App, you want to send me some Bitcoin, feel free.
And think about that, Rojas. How many average people who know nothing about stocks, have Cash App?
Yeah.
It's insane because what we're looking at in 2021 right now, what we're looking at is the average everyday person has the ability to affect the stock market 100%. There's so much people now that are actively involved in the stock market, and who are just learning about the stock market because we are looking for ways to get by. We don't have that much income coming in anymore. We're talking about, I'm not in the States. So what was the stimulus check that was just released in the States?
$600. Actually, speaking of that, I'm so glad you did. I got my money. I actually did. I got my card. I'm just like, what is this? And I called it. You have $600. I'm like, ooh, stock market.
And right there, what you just did is what everybody is doing right now, right?
Mhm.
They're taking their stimulus checks and they're like, hey, we're all pushing a $15 stock to $500. I guess I can invest 600 into $15 each and then turn that into $500. Okay. I will tell you, when this first started, man, I seen the posts. Literally, this is how it go. We're pushing GameStop to 50. We're pushing GameStop to 100. We're pushing GameStop to 500. And I would watch the stock just jump. They would call it and it would jump. And I'm like, this is insane because of the volume of the average person who doesn't necessarily know anything about the stock market, but now has Cash App. They have Robinhood. They have Weeble. Here in Canada, we have Wealthsimple. That's what I use, right? And we have access in our palm of our hands to literally just be like, okay, I'll buy this stock, done. You don't have to go to a broker or to a professional trader. And we're using mob mentality to make ourselves rich. I'm not going to say I'm rich, but to influence our income in a time where you can't get by with $600. What are you going to do with $600? Like, you got a family of 5, your groceries for a month is $600.
Yeah, right. Not in the States.
Well, I mean, I'm being generous, but
It's like, okay, look, here's a cookie. Here's a piece for you, piece for you.
but people are angry and they're talking about that when was the stock market crash, the big one? Was that 2008?
When Bitcoin crashed?
No, not Bitcoin, the stock market, the big stock market crash. I think it was 2008.
I think so, yeah.
Right. So I was watching people talking about their stories, right? And they were like, my parents invested into AAA investments and the stock market crashed and we lost all of our money. And they were looking at these people, and these hedge funds were pushing these stocks down, and they were getting rich by pushing stocks down. And the average everyday person ended up losing homes. They lost their life savings because they were investing into AAA funds, and all of a sudden they got forced into losing everything. And they're angry about that, and they're blaming these hedge funds, and that's what's happening right now.
It's crazy. So let's switch it up a little bit. I don't know if that's been enough of stock markets, but I hope somebody out there is like, ooh, I should look into this a little bit. I know I have, but Apple has just taken the throne again, again, of the most valuable brand. They just took the throne again. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. I know Apple continues, CES has just ended. All these different phones are coming out. Samsung's S21 was a giant disappointment. And there's those headsets. I forget what they were called. They're like 500 and something
Oh,
bucks.
the AirPod Max.
Yeah, like they're the over the ear,
Yeah.
and it's all metal. And everybody says, what everybody says is, look at my hair's all
Yeah,
crazy
I know,
now.
I saw that.
What everybody says is when they put this thing on, you feel the weight, like because it's so heavy. But when you're just there casually just doing about your day and you ignore it, you don't feel it anymore. You forget about it. And there's people like what's his name, Marcus Browning.
Yeah, MKBHD.
Yeah, he did a video on it saying like, yeah, I'm walking around and I don't feel it, but the second I stop to talk to somebody, then like he feels that weight on his head. It's like, whoa. But I don't know what's driving Apple back up to as the not one of most valuable, but the most valuable now again.
I think it's a combination of things, right? They are doing okay, so like we've talked about this in the past. One of the
Mhm.
things that Apple does undeniably well is marketing. 100%. And yes, they came out with a very very interesting headphone, but everybody that's reviewed it gave it praise. It was good. Yes, it has its downfalls with the weights and whatever, but one thing that they do amazingly well is keep people locked into their ecosystem, right? You have a Mac, you have here, let me put it this way. You have an iPhone, then you're probably going to get a Mac because now you can receive your messages and use FaceTime on your computer. And then you're going to want the watch, and then you're going to want to watch the headphones because the headphones do specific things if you use their own devices. Same thing with Samsung and the Galaxy Buds and OnePlus and their OnePlus Buds, right? They're very good at keeping people into their ecosystem. But one of the things that we saw coming out of CES this year was the Apple Car.
That's right.
Right? So
Yeah.
if we're talking about the most valuable brands, we're looking at where companies are coming from, their current product line, and where they're potentially going to go to in the future.
Yeah, I could see that with the Apple Car come in and like all this, like all these. Okay, so I've had several people tell me try Apple. You got to get lost into their ecosystem to really appreciate it. I like my Samsung, and I always get questioned, what is it that you like from your Samsung that your iPhone wouldn't do? And I'm like, well, APKs is one of them. I want that flexibility. And the one thing they're saying outside of that, what would you want? I'm like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I want to be able to put whatever APK I want onto my phone, and I cannot do that with an iPhone. So, I've had a lot of people even ask me like, "Oh, well, pictures on an iPhone are better, video on an iPhone are better," and then I show them my Note 10, and they're just like, "Whoa, what is that?" I'm like, it's on my Samsung phone, and it looks pretty damn sick. There's some videos that I've taken from that phone, and people are just like, "Dude, that thing is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And that's that. I've always been a fan. Right now, I'm not too much of a fan on the S21, whatever the hell it's called. I'm kind of waiting to see what they're gonna do with the Note. I hope the Note is a freaking, like, they better knock it out of the park with the Note. Because if they don't, like, I'm already looking at the OnePlus. I've had Next Level and Digital Slang both tell me just try the OnePlus. If you don't like it, sell it to me. I'll buy it from you. I'm going to be getting it. I've been looking at it, so I'm like, cool. Let me just take care of some bills, and then I'm going to get that phone and play with. They might OnePlus might take me over the Samsung if Samsung don't do anything with their new phones. On the other hand, there's that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And my Note 10 still works pretty damn good.
So let's talk about that for a second. Not about the Note 10, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think for the average person that wants to spend a little bit more and not have issues, and who may not be as tech savvy, they are intrigued by Apple Care, right? So maybe that, because not the everyday person is going to understand what an APK is. Not every person is going to want to, have every application under the sun. Some people just want their social media apps, their TikTok and their Snapchats and their Instagrams and their Facebooks and whatever on their phones, and just use it for pictures and videos and calling, right? And they just want a phone that works, and they want the reassurance and the insurance of, if something goes wrong, they have that care. Now, I am curious to see if they come out with an Apple Car, if there is Apple Car Care, and if there's like a place that you pull into, like a pit stop, and they
Yeah, right. So I want to lead into this right now. Update your iPhone right now. Apple is actually bringing this forward and saying they're not even asking you, they're begging you. They're begging you to update your iPhone right now. I'm just going to read this real quick. On the Apple support page, the company said 3 security flaws just hit that may have been actively exploited. It, of course, Apple don't want to reveal what it is. They don't want to say what happened, but Apple said 2 security issues stem from its WebKit, an open source browser engine used by Safari and iOS browser. A remote attacker may be able to cause arbitrary code executions. So the company right now is saying, we just sent a patch update. If you get it, do it now. If you don't get it, go into your settings and search for updates and update it today. It's crazy that they just became the most valuable brand again, and then they get exploited with 3 security measures, and now they're telling everybody update it. And it's interesting because it's very rare when Apple does come out and say update your stuff right now.
that's not the only thing Apple just said too. Did you hear
Uh-oh.
what Tim Cook just said? So Tim Cook said, you want to keep your iPhone at least 6 inches away from your pacemaker, because the magnetic waves is affecting your pacemakers and your defibrillators.
Wow.
Your iPhone is out to kill you.
And here's the thing, good old grandma, they have these iPhones because they're simple to use, but make sure grandma don't have no defibrillator, because
So if anybody is looking for information on that, because that is a very serious topic.
Yeah.
It is life affecting. It is the iPhone 12. So the latest model, it is affecting their pacemakers and defibrillators. So if you have, a loved one or whatever that has a pacemaker or defibrillator, do your research, do your due diligence. I think that it has something to do with the MagSafe, but still, you want to make sure that your people are safe and their devices aren't not only leaking their virtual security, but their physical security, and keeping them safe. So that's a big one that was in the news, came out a few days ago. So just make sure you guys are doing your due diligence. You want to stay up to date with all this information, because you never know when a device can literally save or affect your life.
Yeah. Freaking good old iPhone. And another reason why I don't get into the iPhone over and over and over. Sophia, your personal robot. Your personal robot. I don't know what you're gonna do with her, but I think we said that Will Smith had a conversation with her.
Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah.
And it was like just like Next Level and I having a conversation. We're talking to each other, we're saying what's up, we're able to handle a conversation. This robot is very scary, and the scariest part is that they made her look very human. Very, 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 very human. Sophia, your personal robot, is now being shipped all over the world.
I'll read you a quote from Sophia. Sophia says, social robots like me, so individuality, she has it, can take care of the sick or elderly. I can help, communicate, give therapy, provide social stimulation, and even in difficult situations. So they're saying that we are deploying these robots because we're trapped in our homes. We don't have social stimulation. Some of us need therapy, and the robots are coming to our aid.
Last time I checked, there was a movie that Will Smith was in.
iRobot.
Yeah, and there is these robots at home. Dude, imagine if because of this whole freaking COVID thing, they're just like, stand by. We are in martial law. You are not allowed to go out. Oh, hell no.
Pretty sure we're in martial law already. They're just deploying the robots now.
But that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Even if they are, like, I know you're saying that you guys aren't allowed to drive anywhere without getting pulled over and getting a ticket. Here in the States, there's this law that they're saying now that they're making it mandatory to wear a mask even when you're driving your car, and they could pull you over. Dude, it's like there's so many like just dumb rules. And okay, this is what like gets under my skin. You want to know what gets under my skin? This is it right here. When they say we are getting this new African COVID strain that's even more deadly, and there's this new UK strain that's even more deadly that's going to hit North America, and they're saying it's going to hit us even harder than what it's currently been. And then they say, "Oh, we're going to lift orders so that way we could start going back to restaurants and getting our nails done and our haircuts." It's like, wait a minute. You just said that we're going to get hit with something much worse than what we've had, and then you're saying let's lift the ban on stuff.
Okay, hold on. I need to ask you a question to make sure that the same thing is happening in the States that's happening here. So they released the vaccine here in Canada, right? And they distributed the first round of shots. So it's not just one shot that you get. You actually get 3, right? So what happened here in Canada is that they released it. Everyone got their first shot who was going to get their first shot. And then it came time for them to get their second shot, and there's no supply.
No supply.
So what does that mean? That the vaccine is ineffective now because they didn't get their second shot?
Right now, there's that's what's happening. They're saying that there's not enough to go around. And then here's the other thing. Good old CNN news. Thank you for the fake news as always. They're saying 25% of the United States has gotten the first and second vaccine.
Second?
Really? 25%. Really?
Okay, so let's do some quick math because they love it when we do math.
Oh,
So
here we go.
350 million people in the States.
Yeah.
So 25% of that would be what, 70, like 80, 90,000 people?
No. 25%?
Yeah.
Of
About 80, 90,000.
what's the total? Of what's the total?
About 350,000 or million, 350 million. So 80 or 90 million people have gotten the vaccine.
Yeah. There you
That
go.
sounds about right. Sorry, I was saying thousands instead of millions.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, thousands, a million.
They love it when
Supposedly.
we do math. That's why.
Supposedly, yeah.
That's a lot of vaccines to distribute, especially if you're talking about 2 doses. Hell no, I don't believe that.
So they said, well, now here's the thing. If Sophia's going to be coming to my house, is she going to give it to me herself? Hey, I know where you can give it to me, Sophia. Hold on. Before we go rated X on this. And speaking about things taking over, did you know I was just skimming through this, and Tesla's coming up with some new features and some new stuff that you could add to your cars and stuff. There's a $10,000 fee to make your car fully Self-driving. Fully. 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 You don't have to do anything. You program it where you want to go, and it sees the lanes, it sees the cars around you, and it just goes. 10 grand to add this feature. I don't know if I would let my car drive me.
This reminds me. So I watched a YouTuber who owned a Tesla. I can't remember who it was. I really can't. I wish I could. But he bought a Tesla and it had the self-driving feature, right? And then his car got an update and they took the self-driving feature away. And then they were like, it's no longer part of your update. You can't have it anymore.
Wow. And then now they're charging 10K to
and now they're charging 10K for it. So it's like they give you the features and then they take it away and then they charge for it. I don't know. Sounds like Apple movements. We'll see that with the Apple car coming up.
Well, I was looking at this whole thing with Tesla, and I don't know if you've heard the whole California exodus. People are just leaving California because of how ridiculous expensive it is with taxes. Dude, our state tax is the worst, literally the worst in the United States, in California. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if you just do a simple research on California was number 5 in the world's economy. You had number 1 as the United States, you had China, and then so on. California, the state of California, and then it was like the UK, and then Russia, and then like some other countries. But California, a state, had we were ranked number 5 in the world. There is at one point in the 90s and early 2000s that California was actually petitioning of breaking away from the United States and becoming its own country.
Sounds like Quebec here in Canada.
Dude, it's like Portugal and Spain. It's exactly what it is, you know. They wanted to petition away. Now, because of how crazy it is, we're ranked we are the worst state when it comes to taxes because of how high everything is. Tesla said, "Screw you guys, I'm going to Austin, Texas." And he got up and left. Elon Musk moved. He's out of here. He's and you know what's even more interesting? Like I knew a lot of people were leaving, and I was kind of like looking into it, but a lot of this stuff recently happened where a lot of these companies just got up and left.
Right. We were talking about that on a podcast recently where they're like, the new Silicon Valley is in Texas now.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dude, Joe Rogan left California.
He also left YouTube. No.
But a lot of people were taking off.
We just got out of CES, and one of the conferences that I attended, where they were talking about automated vehicles, and they said we are looking at a majority of the vehicles on the road by 2024 that's going to be fully all automated. I don't know. I think I've watched too many sci-fi movies to be completely comfortable with this. Have you seen the movie The Upgrade?
No.
So The Upgrade is basically like a cyberpunk theme movie where it's set in the future, and they all have automated cars. You put in the destination and it drives for you. And the opening, I guess, little bit of the movie is the guy is out with his wife and their automated car gets hacked and it takes them somewhere, and then his wife gets murdered. But he couldn't stop the car. They couldn't. So I think I've been conditioned with this stuff that I just hope that, yes, it's cool, but are we going to have the right kind of security? Like, does my Tesla need a VPN?
Does my Tesla? If you're looking for a VPN, guys, and punchline in the description below. Here's something cool. I don't know how cool this is, but a man forgot his password.
Oh my God.
To $236 million. No, 236 million in Bitcoin. I'm sorry.
Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin. I would cry.
I think I kind of read the article a little bit, but he had thrown away a USB stick or something with all the keys on it for his cryptocurrency. And he actually went to the municipality and was like, I will pay you guys to go through the dump and help me find this. Talk about need a USB and a garbage stack. But
That's
I was
crazy.
I was telling you earlier that, and it was kind of like, there's only ever to be in existence 21 million bitcoins. There's not going to be any more than 21 million bitcoins. And some of the conversations that I've been overhearing and taking a part in, when it comes to this whole Gamestonk thing, was that even though there's 21 million, people have lost, people have thrown away, people have mysteriously disposed of their Bitcoin back when Bitcoin was worth a couple dollars. They didn't understand the value of it and all that kind of stuff. So there are speculations out there that there's about 5 million Bitcoins that will never be recovered. So this is, I guess we're going to hear a lot more of these kind of cases where people are going to be kicking themselves for throwing away USB sticks, for getting keys, losing access to your accounts. Now there's a lot more safety measures put in place because of, applications. I use, Simple, but you say on Cash App, you're able to invest into cryptocurrency, right? The
Mhm.
same thing I think you can do in Robinhood and Webull as well. But in order for you to use these platforms and invest into cryptocurrency, those are linked to your identification. You have to sign up. You have to give your information. It's not like the past where you would just get a key, like a string of letters and characters, right? And you would hold that and you would make sure that nobody could touch it. Now it's linked to who you are. You have to enter your social insurance information, just like you're opening a bank account, right?
Mhm.
So now it's different. But man, I feel sorry for people who come from the old school and they're losing those keys. I mean, those keys are safe as long as you keep them safe.
What's interesting is I had I think it was like Exodus wallet is what it was called.
Mhm.
And I had access to like tons of different cryptocurrency. And I remember I was playing with Bitcoin way back when it was like worth nothing, a couple bucks maybe. Um, and there was a cryptocurrency that I went into. I'm like, let me just check and see what this is. And I kind of threw money in there just for the hell of it. It wasn't much,
Mhm.
10 bucks or whatever, and it was worth a couple cents. I left it in there. I haven't touched it, and I have no idea like where it is. I don't like it was off of my old computer. I should turn on my old computer, figure it out again, see if it's there. But it's crazy because yeah, imagine $236 million in Bitcoin, man. Yeah, and you know what? For everybody that's looking into getting into these type of investments, don't be scared and throwing something and then pulling it out. Just let it ride. Like some of these currencies, a lot of this stuff is going to be the future. So hang on, don't go crazy. Let it do its thing. you know.
And I'll just throw in the Beyond the Streams disclaimer. We are not financial advisors. We are not professionals. We are not licensed. If you are investing, make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure that anything that you are investing, there's risk to everything. If you are investing any kind of money, always use the mentality like, if you lose it, you're going to be okay. Don't
Mhm.
put your mortgage into stuff like this, guys. Don't do it. You want to be able to survive for today so that you can live for tomorrow when you have these investments.
Yeah,
So just make sure that you are mindful, you are safe, and you are making smart decisions when it comes to your finances.
absolutely. Again, he just said he's not a financial advisor, but that's some good advice.
I'm,
Cool.
I'm a people person advisor. Okay, that's some people person advice.
I'm a people person. What's wrong with you people?
A purple people person eater.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed this style of episode. We're gonna try to do this a little bit more often, where we're just looking stuff up and trying to give you guys some of the latest and greatest stuff that's out there. It's crazy what is happening out there. Tech related, non-tech related, everything is pretty much revolved around tech nowadays anyway. So
Everything.
so
Everything.
um yeah, again, we appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys do us a favor, hit the thumbs up. If you're watching this, if you're listening, hit the thumbs up. It helps. It absolutely helps. So
100%.
cool. Anything else before we get out of here?
Like always, if you like what you heard here today, make sure you leave that review for us, because that does help a lot of people like yourself find these kind of episodes to get the kind of information that you guys are enjoying. There's so much information that we're bringing to the table on all the different platforms. Just keep in mind, we have the audio podcast that's available on every single platform that you guys listen to your audio podcast. We also have the Beyond the Streams YouTube channel. So make sure that you're leaving us comments. Tell us which one of these news stories that you guys are relating to, which one affects you, which one are you most interested about seeing what happens in the future. And we also have the clips channel. So, a lot of people are enjoying the new clips channel. If you're looking for bits and pieces, if you can't enjoy a whole podcast, then definitely check out the BS clips channel. We do appreciate all the comments that we've gotten so far. I enjoy reading them. I get a blast and a kick out of some of the comments of you guys laughing at our silliness and all that kind of crazy stuff. So I just want to say thank you guys for supporting us and everything that we do out here.
And with that being said, stay tuned to the next episode, because we are signing out.
Peace. Peace.